YouTubers, and thank you for tuning in to today's animation video today, because I thought, why the hell not? Because, I feel like I've run out of ideas, but hey, the animation idea is literally back again, because I have thought of a very brilliant idea that I've actually thought of with, and that is keyframing. Yay! So yes, I'm going to talk about keyframing and what it really is, and I should show you what it looks like on the computer, according to the Wikipedia article. Actually, don't trust Wikipedia. Sometimes the information is not really trustworthy sometimes. But anyways, let's do it! Let's do it, guys! Let's go! Sorry, that's the wrong pose, Let's go! Is that this way or is this way? No, it's that way. Let's go right there! Woo! Okay, I shall show you what keyframing is. It's a drawing or shot that defines the starting and ending points of a smooth transition. It literally depends what transition do you want to have. Do you want the bird to fall down, or do you want it to crash, or do you want it to actually kind of like sort of fly away and then do like a, well, before it flies away, it does like a little jump or something like that. Keyframing is quite a very nice mixed and varied topic when you think about it, because, I've certainly did a whole bunch of animating a long time. And if I type into photos, I should show you what keyframing really is, of course, and you could also have in-betweening as well too. I'm not sure what's the difference between keyframing and, oh my goodness, look at this. So I've learned how to do the basics of animating, like a ball, like so, in-betweening and tweening, intermediate frames, of course, which is very, very nice. I actually make in-between frames, and there's actually been a few instant times in which I make, in-between animations, which is actually quite a very nice thing, because it actually smoothens the animation that you're trying to make. And of course, you don't have to just tween the middle, you can also tween at any given time, which is very, very nice. Okay. There you go, you can just make a few in-between frames of such. Okay, I'll try and give out a very classic example. So this is the animation that I'm working on for Halloween 2023. Maybe an animation with zombie chickens, of course. We've got some crows just chasing off a freaking heron. Okay, there's a lot of previous videos that I've made. There's some photos I've tried here for my homework and stuff. There's some of these chicken pictures. I might convert them into zombie chickens if I have some time, Oh, wouldn't that be great? Anyways, there's a lot of these other previous animations that I did. And there's some of these sprites I didn't use, like this one here. I haven't used those. But I feel like this one is lacking. I think this one here is lacking. Let me give you an example. This one here is another. This is our first example of making an animated dance sheet. This is what I call a sprite sheet. So this is what I do, like that. And I often do like keyframing within. Yeah, it's interesting with keyframing. I should try and, well, when it comes to keyframing and in-betweening, sometimes when I make like a dancing bird type animation, if I go back to photos, and if I just scroll down, okay. I'm scrolling down. If I show you one of my keyframes, you can see that the bird is dancing. Okay, let me just show you some of the dancing animations of the birds I've done. Or should I just say the sprites that I've used, and also the keyframes. My animations don't tend to, operate very smoothly, because, they're actually quite fast paced. I only use like a few sprites, like so. We've also got this bird here, which is Sama the Shama. He's kind of like he's waving at somebody else. See that? This is a classic example. So here's another example. I added like in between and keyframes in which the bird is waving at someone else. This one here, I think these two are like waving frames. Same with this one here. This bird, it looks like it's going to say hello to the other birds and stuff, which is relatively nice. And I've also added these in between frames. So if the bird is like that, I'll just add this, as well as if it was going to say hello and all that stuff. And and also look at these keyframes, and also how these frames work Okay, so I just add something in the middle, and what's very funny is that on my animation I did, which was the Murder Day animation, I think I should give you some very good examples of keyframes now, and in betweening. So not just keyframes, and also in between, but also like in between intermediate frames, transitioning into like one image or one action to another, which is very important of such. So okay, this is the minor bird just moving around, and you can see in how it's actually jumping. Look at that, and this is how it works. So this is the animation without the sound. But I want to go to the part in which the birds actually turn to the minor bird, the Malaysia 2023 mascots that I've made. As you can see, they're like that. You've probably seen this many times on YouTube. I'm just making a video on top of a video. As you can see, they're just dancing. I'll show you, it's quite windy today, sorry about the wind. And you can see the keyframing aspect. Okay, you can see how fast the transition is. So the birds, they're kind of like, this is a nice day. They're kind of like chilled and relaxed, not, menacing looking. And then they just sort of, look at that. When they're just sort of turning around, they just do these sort of, in between frames. Well, look at that. Look how I sort of, create in between frames. So this is how they seem to, seem to move like that. Look at this bird. Look at the way it's moving. It's quite a fast-paced in-between sort of animation I did. And it's a nice way of doing stuff. Now this bird here doesn't have any in-betweens. I know it's cheesy and choppy, but hey, it's all the way to save a bit of time for me to work on animation guff. And you can see how much of a delay this bird here is. That Courtney dancing like so. And of course this guy here isn't really dancing that much. But hey, I think I'm just doing this as a way of, stuff. I'm just doing stuff just to show you how much prowess I'm doing at the moment, Another thing I've also done, if I go to downloads, on my Palm Grove Shore video that I've done, in a previous video I've done, which actually had a Komodo dragon on it, I'll show it to you. It actually has got like a little animation of a bird. You can see it. There's a bit of a keyframe. Now, as you may have noticed, the bird that's actually taking off, there's actually an extra keyframe which I feel like was a little bit sloppy and I feel like I'm going to criticize this. Maybe the flying animation isn't really as smooth as I thought. It was just like a One Piece. Sorry for the pun, I know you're into that anime. There is an anime franchise called One Piece, which I might talk about that in another video on YouTube. But look how this minor bird is taking off. I'll show it to you again, so I can show you very closely. If I zoom in right perfectly in, like so, you can see how the minor bird is talking and chirping away. Look at that chap, it's just flying away. Look at the Komodo dragon, look at that. There you go, it's just flying away with the Komodo dragon moving like so. It's just so fantastic. I've got into animating for quite a long time now, Very much so. And look how smooth the minor birds are walking, and also how this Komodo dragon is also walking, but also look how it's moving. The head is also moving too. Okay, and it's just taken off. Look at that, This is excellent. Now, another funny bit of keyframing I've done is to get the minor bird as if it was in such a deep alert. There you go. The camera's moving. Birds are flying. They're all chirping. Several other birds chirping, of course. And if I keep on scrolling, the birds are still chirping. No, I don't want that. I don't want these nature documentaries. There you go. The bird is coming in, walking by. Does an alarm call. I should show you carefully. Look at that. You can see how in between the frames they're not as hyper-realistic, but this is a classic example on how I do in between frames, and also the faces as well too. Look at that, Look at that. I just simply do that in It's a 1 times 1 type method. I just simply, let the birds just sort of get into a bit of an alertive feeling when this bird is screeching to the other birds. As you can see, this is how I do keyframing. Now, I'm going to show you one particular, there's actually quite a lot of keyframes here. So, the one keyframe, which I think is actually quite great, and if I scroll it down, scroll downwards of course, hey? Okay, who knows, you might be thinking, oh, but Ivan, this is just a random animation you're just making here. Well, of course it is. Maybe it's better if I go into photos. Let me try and see that, hey? You can see how I actually sort of add movements and stuff into the way I animate stuff. Okay, so let me just go to the minor bird in which it takes off. I'm showing off my prowess and also how this bird gets proactively reactive. Ah yes, this is another classic example of in-betweening and keyframing. So the more I add like animations that involve on keyframing and in-betweening, the more it becomes dynamic. It also sort of tells you what action the bird is like or whatever critter you want it to be like. So there you go, it's landing. There you go, it's doing like that. As you can see, the birds are flying away. Then you get scared. Oh, look at that. That is a fast reaction time. You see that? That whiskered tern, which is a seabird, has got like extra sprites in which it didn't had. So, as you can see, it's scared and it just takes off. But there is one other interesting aspect. I should show you. I should double click this because this is genuine advice to show you. So in keyframing you can see how it's like a little, well, it's more quick, you can see how fast it is. Although it's not really the best. This is how I animate. See that? I'm playing in reverse. Look at that. It's responding. It's posing. It's literally when the whisker tern sees the Komodo dragon about to roar and about to eat it. Look at that. Bird screams in a high-pitched Keemstar scream, like ah, and then it just seems. There you go. It's flying away now. I'll show it to you again. See that? It's a bit of a See that when I add keyframes and in-betweenings, it makes it more dynamic, especially when you have different poses and different feelings and emotions on in which the bird is feeling, and that's a great example on how I make amazing animations. See that Komodo dragon is roaring. You can see how it's, and also how it changes as well too. Look at that. It's calmed down a bit now, and now it's walking. The bird's flying away now. Look how it's landing. Look at that. Look how it's different. See that? It's a different pose. Now this pose is one bird pose which I don't think I've actually got in my sprite sheets. That's a transition background. There you go. It's chirping. Here we are, hi. Ah, yes. And now it's about to... There you go, it's flying away now. I think there's a little error here where this part here, for me, is a little bit too high than, let's say, as if the foot was there. I'll zoom in again just to show you my critical point. Yeah, I think for me it's a little bit... How would you say it? It's a little bit offset. From a couple of digits away, but you can see how it's taking off. And also adding keyframes also adds a bit of dynamic form as well too. Look how this minor bird is taking off. Now see when I add an in-between keyframe, you see how it takes off? I mean, it's not the best, but at least it gives a bit of dynamic force into the bird. Now this is pretty much something like, I think you may have noticed on my Murder Day animation, I didn't add this sprite. No, wait, it was this sprite. And I didn't add this because I wanted to actually save a bit more time on doing the Malaysia 2023 mascots into it for the final result. There you go. That's a classic example of keyframing. And also like, how animals walk and how birds fly and how birds walk, Keyframing and in-betweening frames as well too. I'll show you another one. If I have a future animation product to do so, let me just show you. So I've got a noisy construction vehicle here. There you go. It's going. So guys, I've got a construction vehicle that's been taking over my videos and such. So yes, this is the white-breasted water hen, which is a species of birds I have. There you go. Look how much hard work I've added. Now, I've also noticed this may seem a little bit abstract, but this one here may seem a little bit weird because the leg is a little bit offset. You can see how stretched it is. And I mean, it doesn't have to be naturally perfect and realistically perfect. It can be like the way it is. But nevertheless, it is meant to be based on the white-breasted water hen, which is the real bird I've tried to emulate. And luckily enough, it's not perfect, but hey, it seems to be based on the bird that I've replicated on. Hey, I've been replicating real birds, eh? You know, that's great. And if I zoom in, you can see how much hard work I've been added. So this follows this, is being followed by this, and it's followed by this. But even though if it's not really perfect, well, I definitely think it's still great, despite how imperfectionate or not so perfect this sprite is. And there's also a few other birds here, like this kingfisher. Look how it's actually, I've added so many other, I've actually worked hard in other birds, like this kingfisher, like as if it was landing. Look how much adding, look how much in-betweening. And you can see how much in-betweening, and look how, when I add frames, which are this realistically dynamic, you can see how the images and how it's been sequenced. You can see how this sequenced format of keyframing works. It works so well for the fact that, when I add a bit of keyframing, it makes it so realistic. Who knows? Oops, sorry, did I just exceed 14 minutes? My bad. Sorry about that, guys. In reality, I think this should be like a maybe an 18-minute, 19-minute, 20-minute video. I don't know. So I've just had a bit of a time loop there. I just thought it was going to be 14 minutes. God damn it. Why did I just said 14 minutes? 14 minutes, god damn it. And now it's just extending over time, hey? So, this is another example of keyframing. Oh, we just breached the rules, eh? So, in this classic example of keyframing, when the bird is landing, you can see it's folding its wings downwards. There you go, it's folding it back, like so. And then as it lands, you can see it's crouched like so. But if it's like taking off, you can see how the wings are opening up like so, and then the kingfisher flies away, merrily of course. And another thing, look at the head. The head is also being replicated nicely, hey? See that? Although there's a little bit, yeah, it doesn't look as great as the final image. As you can see, I've just added 2, so that just in case if I make another mistake, hey, it works really well. There's more keyframes, like if the kingfisher was landing here as well too. More spare images for it to land. Hey, that looks totally exciting, eh? Totally nice. More images, you can see how the kingfisher lands. It's a great bird. It's a great looking bird. And I'm thinking, wow, you know what, hey? Woo, it's a nice bird. And also did this. That's a nice way of interpreting such a nice looking animated sprite, which is excellent. Still is relatively nice. I'm really surprised that, hey, that's totally excellent. And I also got these. That's amazing. Highly desiring that, hey, look at that. Look how much keyframing. And I mean, they're very fast-paced because I think in reality, kingfishers are actually quite fast-paced birds. Birds, of course. You can see how fast they are. Look how much detail they are. And I'm also trying to be very realistic as possible as I can. I mean, I don't have to. That's my doubt and gut feeling, eh? Woo! Probably 21 minutes should be the mark of making this video. Might be totally lying here, eh? So, keyframing, what do you think? Well, sorry, there's a crow here on the background, eh? So, the real importance of keyframing is that the basic part about keyframing and in-betweening frames is, well, what's important about keyframing and, well, of course, it really does, lead you into several actions like, what if the bird was gonna land into some kind of volcano and just get incinerated? Or what if the bird landed on some kind of spike pit trap? Would it just simply die? Very simple, eh? and not to be, well, of course, yes, all these sprites are born for my career, but also for the fun and purpose and the entertainment, but also for deep down inspiration for other creators who want to get heavily invested into animations. Yay! And of course, yes, when it comes into like in-betweening and keyframing, I also do like, bird mouths. So yes, this white-throated kingfisher, as you may have noticed, doesn't have a white throat, although it's based on one. Whew. There you go, there's some of the mouths here. You can see how much detail I've just added, and apparently, I think we've just came to the very end part of this video, but I'm just going to finish off with these frames here. Very nice keyframing in the wire. I just added the bird mouths, just to make them sort of movable. So, I think to end this video, please give this video a like. Subscribe for more Flip Out videos in the future if you really enjoyed about making keyframing and in-betweening. So, very simply enough, while intermediate, they don't have to be. Keyframing might be important, but hey, it also makes it really smooth. Makes animations really smooth, eh? Yay! So anyways, thanks so much for watching, and bye for now, and subscribe for more animated video content like this and tutorials like this. Bye for now. Again.